This episode is proudly brought to you by the law firm Ryan and Rouse. If you or a loved one have been injured or need legal help for changing family circumstances, contact the personal injury and family law attorneys at Ryan and Rouse today at 256-801-1000 or visit them online at www.alabamalaw.com. When your future is on the line, don't go at it alone.
Hey guys,
Welcome back.
we're back. Another week has gone.
It
For
has.
sure.
How's it going?
Good. Good, just trying to stick to my goals for the year, the new year. Trying to stick to those I don't like resolutions. I like to say goals.
I don't think I made any resolutions this year. That's like the first time in forever that I haven't.
Yeah. Well, mine's basically like I have, I'm a big reader. So I have a lot of my reading goals and then my fitness goals. I'm going to run. I hate running. Like I
Well, power
really,
to you.
really hate running. And I was like, for fitness, I was like, I need to do something that I don't like. And like last year I wanted to attend 250 of my burn camps. And so I did that. And honestly, I love going. So going every day is not an issue for me. So I was like, I don't want to be like, go to camp because I'm gonna go. So I was like, I need to do something I actually don't like. And there's one woman who is a runner and she's like constantly like every morning, like she wasn't a runner, she is now. And she was posting every day, like, hey, I'm getting my run in, hey, I'm getting my run in. And I was talking to her in class and I was like, you're really inspiring me. Like, maybe I should do this. And she was like, yeah, one of our trainers does like a whole plan for you.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's included. And I was like, oh. So she's training for a half marathon. I was like, I'm gonna take a baby step. Listen, I can do a 5K. I don't need to train for that. Like, that's fine. I was like, let's start with a 10K. So I'm gonna go run a 10K, which is like 6.4 miles or something like that.
We'll be there to cheer you on.
Thanks.
I'm gonna cheer you on from the sideline.
I am too.
And
So,
it's on my side of town, so like you guys will have to come over and afterwards I'm gonna need like Mexican.
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna
Oh,
eat
I'm
something.
totally down for eating queso after
We'll be on
and
the
talking
side.
about how great of a job you did.
Thank you.
Honey.
We'll be on the sideline with Dries.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. But
And popcorn probably.
and just watching her, look at her dying.
Yeah, like I hope there's a concession soon where we can go get like a pickle or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they might. Who knows? What about you, Amber? Do you have anything like that you want to do this year?
No, I don't really like disappointing myself. Let's be honest, I'm not gonna follow through with it. I'm going to start a bunch of projects per the normal. I'm gonna pick up a bunch of hobbies and I'm going to be into them for like maybe a month and I'm gonna
Yeah.
do something new. So
You,
one thing about me, I just like new things.
you are really listen, you do have hobbies though.
Yeah.
And and there's a chance we're gonna have some cool stuff in a shop soon that we're working on with you with some of your hobbies. So, there's gonna be some cool things that come up, I think,
Yeah.
with that this year. But yeah, I don't blame you. And that's why I call them goals and not resolutions
Yeah.
because I'm like, these are just goals because like resolutions just sound so like final.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people are like, well, you know, it's almost been a year since you found everything out, like are you gonna have a dating goal? I'm like, yeah, not to be in one.
Yeah, like
My goal is not to be in a relationship.
not be in one.
Yeah. I'm like, you're the only one out of us that's like still has some hope for the world.
And I really don't know how. I don't feel like I should have any left.
Yeah, I don't feel like you should either.
I really shouldn't. But
Yeah.
that's what it is.
You still
so.
got some, but for me, I was just like, yeah, my goal is to not get completely derailed by a man. That's my goal for the year.
Absolutely. Well, so this episode, I guess we're gonna dig into Amber's story a little bit.
Yep.
So
So tell us about your past history with your serious relationships.
More like trauma.
Yeah.
join the play.
Tell us about your trauma.
Yeah, yeah. We'll start off with so my first relationship came when I was 16 years old. I was with him on and off for God, I don't even know how long. Probably on and off till I was like 25 years old. So in that relationship, there was a lot of abuse. This is before we talked about trauma bonding, um, and abuse and what that really looked like. So I remember being 16 and getting into this relationship, and we immediately fought from the beginning. And in that relationship, I really lost myself because before it, I was like a really headstrong girl.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm still pretty
I
headstrong
was just
now,
saying that's how you are now. Like you
but
got a little bit back to it.
I had a temper. It humbled me.
Surely
Um,
not.
yeah, I mean, when you see somebody's eyes go black and you're not sure if you're gonna make it through the night,
Woof.
that'll
God.
humble you. But some of the things that like I faced during that time was like sexual abuse, a lot of it. I remember one of the first times he did it, um, I was sleeping and I woke up to him ripping my pants off. And I begged him to get off me. I was halfway asleep. I didn't want to have sex.
Yeah.
And he ripped my pants off and he proceeded. I was fighting him, begging him and crying for him to get off me. He wouldn't. So I just laid there still. I didn't know what else to do. I just laid
Yeah.
like didn't enjoy it, just laid there and I remember waiting every moment, just hoping that it was gonna be over soon. I cried and I cried and I cried after I knew that, obviously I was in love with this guy. I was already trauma bonded and I didn't know at the time that that's what that was.
Yeah.
I thought it was real love.
Right.
And so I knew that like if I told my mom, obviously she was going to end it, be done with it, don't ever speak to him. So I told his mom, I confided in her, and she told me that it wasn't rape because we were in a relationship and I should want to have sex with him. If he wants it, I should want it too.
Shame on that woman.
Yeah.
Mhm. He had even at one point, the night he cheated on me, I was 17 years old. It was the night before my AP psychology exams.
Mhm.
Um, at this point, I think he was living with me at this point because his mama kicked him out. She didn't
The
even,
same woman that
the
told you to
same
keep
woman,
sleeping with him.
Kicked him out.
the same woman who thought he walked on water didn't even want him to live in the same household as her because oh he's a thief and he's this and he's that and I mean he was all those things. um but he came knocking on my window at like 2 o'clock in the morning and I got up and I went and I let him in. I let him come to my bedroom. um and he wanted head and I didn't want to give it to him. I was tired. I had exams the next day and I took high school really serious. I wanted to make good grades. I wanted something out of my
Yeah.
life. I had a really hard childhood and I didn't want a hard future.
Yeah.
And so he proceeded to fight me. He grabbed my head, forced it on him.
Mm.
As I cried and I cried and I cried, y'all. I mean,
What
it broke me. And so he forced it on me. I didn't know what else to do, so I just proceeded, even though like I had begged him to get off me.
Oh, you're
But
very
at the
young at
point,
that
yeah,
point too. You're
Yeah.
still
yeah.
really,
I mean, I
really
was
young.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 17. I didn't know what else to do. So I did it. The next day, we're laying in bed, and I'm still trying to get over what he's done to me.
Mhm.
He starts crying and tells me he cheated on me. And y'all, I was so trauma bonded that I comforted him.
Yeah.
I told him that I wouldn't leave him
Mm.
after all that he had done to me.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. Why is it always that first one? Because the first one I was trauma bonded to, I lost my virginity to, and in that night, like after he took my virginity when I'm 15 years old, like an hour later calls me crying because he cheated on me. And I did the same thing. I stayed with him for 7 more years, guys. So,
yeah.
you know.
And I was
Yeah.
like, the older me is like, oh God, you're dumb. But then, my therapist reminds me, you didn't know what you didn't know.
Yeah.
And I like, that's what I have to remind myself all the time. But
You were a kid.
I was a child.
Yep.
I was not old enough to even be making those decisions.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And so that relationship proceeded on for 5 years. He had an active addiction to cocaine.
Mm.
So that was a
Mhm.
constant battle too.
Yeah.
Especially coming from a family that was really bonded into drug use. So
Yeah.
like all I knew growing up with people who were on drugs.
Yeah.
Um and no shame to them,
It's a sickness.
it's a disease.
It is. Yeah.
So um I'm so happy that a lot of them have found recovery.
Good.
But but it was all I knew and like the craziness was all I knew growing up.
Yeah.
What you're
And
used to.
so eventually my sister had came back from England. Thank God for her. And he and I were living in Niceville, and I was actually babysitting my nephew, and he had came back and he had went and did coke with some friends, including my cousin, and he was lying to me about it. Well, I'd asked him where he had been, and he told me he was at a different place than where he was. And I had asked my cousin, and my cousin said, I don't know where we were, but the place that he told me we were was right across the street from my grandma's house. So tell me how you wouldn't know.
Mm.
So I had confronted him, and again, our relationship was real toxic. I mean, we were screaming. I've never been in another relationship where it was
Yeah.
just screaming and yelling and hollering, and I mean, hands on each other. Like, I mean, we were toxic.
Yeah.
And so my sister said, "No, you're done." She
Yeah.
said, "You're done with this." She packed up my stuff, and she started putting it in her car. She said, "You were done with this. You're moving with me. You're done with him."
Mhm.
So I didn't feel like there was any other way, but I also was still trauma bonded,
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
bad. I mean bad. So I did leave him, and I had left him for a couple years, but I don't know, every other relationship I guess just felt boring because I wasn't used to it.
Mhm.
And I didn't understand. I didn't go to therapy. I should have went to therapy then.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's true. Like then you get in a relationship and when it's actually like healthy or like it seems boring. And so then you're just
Enjoy.
like you're like what is happening
It's
here?
like you're waiting for the shoe to come.
And that's when, and I know a lot of our like people feel this way because it's always that, the nice guys come in last. And that's why is because when we all come in trauma bonded and you're young and you go through it, then it is like, well, what is this? This is boring. This isn't how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be we confuse the trauma a lot with passion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%. Those butterflies were devil's flies.
Yeah.
Honest to God. But so
Little
yeah,
Satan bats.
a cou-
Say that.
Little Satan bats.
I'm telling you. So a couple years passed, and he had already had a child with another girl, and they had had a lot of DV issues too. She had sent him to jail a couple times, everything. But I wanted to believe that he was different this go around because he promised me he would be different.
Of course, they'll
And
always
I
be
mean,
different.
he had even told this poor girl that I was the only girl he'd ever love, and all this crazy crap.
Mm.
And like, I mean, I hated that for her. And I still do that. She had to deal with that. But so he was that way with her, but I wanted to believe he was going to be different. Because I really thought I thought that he was everything. I thought there was nothing else. Like he walked water with me because
Yeah.
I was trauma bonded. But so I took him back. And then we ended up in a custody battle with his ex. We ended up fighting for it and ended up with custody. And so he put on a good front for a while. Oh, I'm a good guy,
Mhm.
held my temper down. So apparently he could manage his temper,
Yeah.
right? Just when he didn't want to.
Yeah.
But so he held his temper. He did everything that was right. Wasn't on drugs. Wasn't doing coke. Wasn't partying all the time. But the moment we got custody again, he proceeded to brag constantly about how she would never be able to get custody back of the little girl because she wouldn't be able to afford it. And he proceeded to go back to partying. But when he was partying is when he would get the meanest. He would get angry.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
he was high, he was hateful.
Yeah.
The Literally the devil. He That was when his eyes would turn black. Like
That's scary.
never on my like
And to have custody of a kid.
literally, yeah,
Mm-mm.
they would literally turn black. So I mean, there was instances where like the abuse came back, the rape came back. Like one night after we had received custody of the little girl, I was sleeping in the bed next to her, and he came in and ripped my pants off with her sleeping next to me and raped me right next to her while I begged him to get off me as quietly as I could because I didn't want to wake her up and her to see that.
Yeah.
So I had
Mm.
to beg him to get off me and at least go to the next room. Even though I didn't want it at all, I was again sleeping. And
But you were trying to protect the child.
but I just
Yeah.
all I cared about at that point was her. And then finally after one of our friends had passed away, she had gotten really bad off on drugs, and she was one of our high school friends. She passed away. Things had just gotten really, really bad with us, and we had gotten another argument. And I don't even remember really what it was about at this point, but I was just like, I was done.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I had lost 60, 70 pounds. I literally was 100 pounds.
Oh God.
Everybody in my hometown thought I was on drugs. They were
Yeah.
asking my mother if I was on drugs. It was embarrassing.
Oh,
I
wow.
was losing hair by the handfuls. And so we got in an argument. I told him I was done, and he got really mad at me. And he ended up we were fussing with each other, we were fighting, and he slammed me against the wall and proceeded to choke me. And it was all in front of that little girl. And she was just crying, and she was crying and screaming Hamburg, because that's what she called me. And I couldn't get to her. I literally, with no bra on, no shoes on, nothing. I had like a cami top on. I ran out of the house, got in my car. For the grace of God, I at least had my key in my pocket.
Yeah.
But I ran with no shoes on, got in my car and drove off. I went to the Social Security office, was right across like the main road we lived off of. So I went and I parked over there because I could see if he was leaving or not. And I called his mother and I told her what happened. And I was like, look, I said I don't want to be with him anymore, but I do need to go back and get my heart medicine because I have to have my heart medicine. And she tried to convince me to stay with him. She said that we were soulmates and begged me to not leave him and said that we belonged together and that's why we got back together, was that we were meant to be together.
What is wrong with this woman?
Oh, a lot.
Like, I
A
just can't
lot.
imagine I can't imagine being so blind to your son's, like, what he does. Like, I cannot imagine being a mother and being like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
The things my son is doing is perfectly fine, and I'm gonna
Right.
still try to make women be with him.
I'd be fine that my granddaughter is living with him,
Right.
knowing his history.
Like, and that's what's crazy too, is I can't
Yeah.
believe he got custody, but also just like doing these things in front of this child is wild.
Yeah, it was. But so I didn't go back. She did eventually, because I told her, I was like, look, this is what it is. I said either he leaves right now or I'm calling the cops. And I was like, they'll make him leave. I have to have my heart medicine. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
I'll come get my other stuff later, but that's what I need. So she got him to leave. I got my stuff, and then I went to my mom's house. And so I can't be more thankful about how supportive my parents have always been for me, and that I know that I can go home at any time if I ever need to.
Yeah.
So I walked in the door. I didn't even call her on the way there. Didn't say anything to her. I was just numb. I
Yeah.
was so broken that I was numb. I felt nothing anymore.
Yeah.
And so I walked in the door and I was just like, "Hey, Mom, I'm home." And she was like, "What do you mean you're home?" And I said, "Mom, I'm home." And y'all, she squalled.
Uh-oh.
I've never seen my mom cry the way she cried.
Yeah.
She was just so relieved, but like that was the moment that I just knew I was done. So that was the first
Big trauma.
big trauma relationship, and I think that I probably should have got therapy after that one, but I didn't. The second B, so I met him at work. I actually worked with his mom. And when I met him, before I ever met him, I told his mom, I said, "Is that your son?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "I just want you to know he's going to be my future husband."
Oh.
Yeah.
Bold.
I mean, I was confident when
Very
I met
bold.
him. He was very attractive. He was kind. And when the first time I seen him, he was bringing flowers to his mom. Okay. Like, I was like,
That's
oh,
hard to
my
beat.
heart, like my heart. But so we ended up, he had actually knew, because I had made several jokes about him being my future husband.
That's awesome.
I was with the last one talking about how this one was gonna be my future husband.
Oh my God.
But we met and things were going great. They really were. I thought he was my soulmate.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind, he was caring. I had never been treated so good in my entire life.
Yeah.
I mean, worshiped the ground I walked on. But then we started trying for a baby after we had been together for a long time. Like, we had been together for probably like 2 years at least. And we had started trying for a baby. Well, he did drink, like, he would drink like a beer a night or maybe a couple beers. And he was working on the road. So he really only came home on the weekends. And then I would drive and see him wherever he was. So I was driving, some weekends I was driving 6 hours to Orlando to see him, just to be with him.
Mm.
Because of that, I didn't know how bad his drinking was getting. And around the time that COVID hit, it had gotten really bad. When he came home during COVID time, because he obviously wasn't able to work on the road during that time. He was drinking half of a gallon of vodka a night.
Oof.
A night.
A night.
Oof.
A
Oh my
night.
God.
And he was really struggling with gout. And he said that that was because of like eating red pasta and stuff like that. But in reality, it was all the drinking he was doing. And he was just, instead of like dealing with that and stopping drinking, he would just chase the tart cherry juice with vodka. It got to the point where there was one night where like he exploded. He had never been violent with me before, and he wasn't violent with me that night, but like he had like um he got mad at me about something and like blew up and had like broke the shutter doors to one of our closets and broke the kitchen table.
The table. Oh
He had
wow.
like flipped the table. He broke the chairs. He broke like a bunch of stuff in the apartment. He also got really insecure when he was drinking. So at one point he was accusing me um of having people in my car and wasn't telling him about it, and that he was tracking the mileage on my car to see how far I was going and if I really was going where I was saying that I was going.
My God, did he check the tires too?
No, he probably did.
Shit.
But yeah, like so he was getting really insecure. And then when I one night, it was Christmas, around Christmas, I told him, I was like, I'm done. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
He I was walking up the stairs when I said it, but like when I tell y'all, like he had his issues, but he really did love me and wanted to be with me. And so he said he was going to rehab. So his aunt took him up to rehab on Christmas, and then he was only at rehab for about 2 weeks. Now, given he had tried to detox at home a couple times, and the doctor said he had a heart attack
Oh my
because
God.
his drinking had gotten so bad that he could not detox at
He was
home by
that bad
himself.
off.
Yeah, I needed
Yeah.
to be with
He
medical
couldn't detox
professionals.
by himself at home. So
And so this is just another sickness you're dealing with. Like you went from dealing with the drugs
yeah,
being a disease and a sickness to alcohol being a disease and a sickness.
yeah. So 2 weeks after that, he called and said that he needed us to come get him from rehab. That he said everybody was in rehab that had COVID, and that he needed to leave. I went and got him. On the way home, he picked up a case of beer. So I knew it wasn't over.
Mm,
As bad as I wanted it to be over, I knew it wasn't going to be
yeah.
over. And then so he promised that he would just drink beer to keep down the shakes and that he wouldn't go back to drinking liquor. And I was like, okay, at least I can deal with that, right? Like if all he ever drinks is beer, like that was manageable for me. But then when he went back out on the road, I had found out that he was Instacarting liquor to his hotels.
Well, because like true alcoholics, like I have some people in my life who are alcoholics and they're recovering. They're in recovery and have been for years now. But you can't have anything. Like
Yeah.
one beer and you're back out.
Right.
Like it's a very slippery slope to being back out, and you have to, but you have to hit rock bottom and you have to want
To get better.
to get
Right.
better. You can't do it for anyone else. You have to do it for yourself. And I mean that's one of the things they talk about, even in like AA and stuff. So
Yeah. Well, the more you beg someone to get clean or, stop drinking or anything like that, all you're doing is setting yourself up for failure if they're not ready and
yeah,
willing to do it for themselves.
yeah,
So,
And that was his thing, is he never wanted to do it for himself. Every time he said he was going to do it, it was for me. And that's what I kept telling him. I had been to AA meetings when I was younger with my parents' addiction issues, with my stepdad and such. I had been to NA and AA meetings when I was younger. Like I knew about this kind of stuff, and I was telling him, I was like, you have to do it for yourself. Like it doesn't matter if you're doing it
yeah.
for me. Well, fast forwarding to the future, so I ended up, once I found out that he had been drinking liquor again, I just packed my stuff up while he was still working. He was in New Mexico working, and I packed my stuff up and I moved to Huntsville. I said I was done. And I moved to Huntsville. He wasn't even home for it. I broke up with him on the phone. I hated to do it like that, but I knew that he wouldn't make the breakup easy.
yeah, you know
Yeah.
how it would go.
And I needed a fresh start. I needed something new.
Yeah.
So I moved up here, and then I had been up here for probably 6 months when his aunt had called me. And I might have been up here a little bit longer than that, but his aunt had called me and she said, hey, I only call you with bad news. She was like, and I got something really bad to tell you. And so I thought she was going to tell me about his dad or his grandpa. And she says, hey, I just want you to know that B is currently in the hospital. All of his organs are shutting down. He's peeing black. They don't think he'll live for more than 3 days.
That's scary. Like when your urine turns to nothing but blood,
Yeah.
that's not good.
I've never cried more in my entire life.
Well, because you truly love this
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
and loving somebody with an addiction is not an easy task. So, because you have to take care of yourself, like you have to put yourself first, because it's not fair to you to be in this relationship, but it doesn't change the fact that you love this person.
Mhm. I mean, I've said it 1,000 times. It literally feels like you're grieving somebody who's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because there's nothing you can do to change it.
No.
Mm-mm. And then once they do pass away or something happens,
Mhm.
that grief it totally changes. It's still
Yeah.
there, but it's a different aspect, even though you were grieving them while they were still
Mhm.
alive.
Because I'm always gonna think about like what it would have looked like if he had gotten sober and if he
Mhm.
had stayed sober
Yeah.
or if he had never picked that up
Yep. The
to
what ifs will
begin
kill
with.
you.
The what ifs, I mean, for a long time I fought them so hard.
Yeah.
But so I drove down to Andalusia that day. I was literally at a yard sale. I scared my nephews because I just broke down crying right
Oh.
there in front of them. So I scared them actually, and they I couldn't drive myself. My sister, being the ride or die she is, she drove me, and she drove me all the way down there while I just squalled the
Yeah.
entire time. Barely could tell her what was going on. And I get there, and he was out of it, like out of his mind. He was hallucinating really bad. Um, they said that like he'd pretty much been sleeping and hallucinating the whole time, making like motorcycle noises in the bed. He wasn't trying. He didn't want to live anymore
Yeah.
until he seen me.
Mm.
So I walk up next to him and I grab his hand and I say, "Hey, I'm here." And he looked up at me and everything changed. Like he changed, and the doctor came in and said, like he was starting to talk. He was trying to joke with us. None of it made sense because he was
Yeah.
hallucinating so bad. Like he literally was out of his mind. But everything is like his whole personality had changed because he had
Mhm.
seen me. And so his doctor came in and said, I didn't think you were going to live for more than 3 days. He said, but now that I see you like this, I think you have a chance. We're going to send you to UAB.
Mm.
Oh wow.
And I was so thankful. I was praying all the way there. I mean, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And I got up to UAB and I slept on the hospital floor next to him on the bare floor.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Um,
They couldn't even give you a couch, like, damn.
no, like,
A blanket or
nothing. They couldn't give me
a
nothing.
shitty hospital
I
pillow.
slept on that bare floor. His mom, I gave her the chair. So I slept on the floor. And really, I don't think I actually ever slept.
Yeah.
I just lay there and, just praying and wishing that things are going to be different for him because I didn't want him to,
Yeah.
die. Well, so I was on overnights at work and I was actually going through a miserable time at work too. And I would go down there every 3 days on my days off and I would switch out with his mom so she could go home. She could, take care of things at home and wash her
Mhm.
clothes and all that. And I would take care of him. I mean, and I had to take care of him in every way. Like, he couldn't even get out of bed. He couldn't walk.
Mm.
So, and he still was out of his mind for most of that time.
Yeah.
And I took care of him through all that. The doctor said that he would need a liver transplant. That he had what was called hepatitis of the liver. So
Okay.
it's worse than cirrhosis of the
Yep.
liver. So he was gonna need that transplant, and so we were working on, ensuring he stays sober, trying to just
Mhm.
get it. We just really wanted it at this point to walk
Yeah.
because he couldn't walk. Um, and he came back, like his personality came back, like that funny person he
Yeah.
is, 'cause
Yeah.
he's hilarious.
The person you fell in love with,
Yeah,
yeah.
the person I fell in
Yeah.
love with was back, and that was really confusing time for me
Mhm.
too,
Can imagine.
because I wanted so badly to be back with him
Yeah.
the whole time.
Well, and I'm sure you were hoping that, like, hitting rock bottom like that would change it.
Yeah.
Like, you would think that if there was going to be a rock bottom, that
That
would,
peeing blood would be it.
yeah, that you'd be like, I almost died. I should probably change this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like there was nothing I wanted more in this world than to be back with him.
Yeah.
But the other reality side of that was for me was I ever gonna have the future I wanted to have if I stayed with him? And the answer to that was gonna be no. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna have kids.
Yeah.
Or at that time that's what I wanted. I wanted a family. I thought
Mhm.
I wanted, I wanted a career and I wanted like a normal life because that's not what I've had in my past.
Right.
I've always dealt with people with addictions, and I just want like a peaceful life. I want to wake up to the same person I go to bed with that night.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's not a hard ask, but it has been for me.
Yeah. Same.
So
Well, it's a hard ask in this day and age
Yeah.
anyway.
so it was a really confusing time, but we finally got to the point where they sent him home before he could walk again. But he got home, and the more like nutrition he was taking in, he was starting to be able to like build that muscle mass to be able to walk again.
Mhm.
And he eventually did get a walk again, but he went back to his mom's house. And I originally wanted him to come home with me, and I'm glad that she didn't let me do that.
Yeah.
Um, because it would have been much of a future for me, and I think she knew that.
Yeah.
So she was a good mother, unlike the
oh,
last one.
Yes, no, I cannot speak. Yeah, no, she's great. As a mother-in-law,
Mhm.
I loved her. Like,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
The whole family's a really good family.
Yeah.
And I can't speak more on that. Like, they're just really
Yeah.
good people.
Yeah.
But
It just sucks that he has a sickness and
yeah,
a
Yeah.
disease that he's dealing with.
yeah. And it's just a heavy disease. So he got back home over there, and he was guilting me and saying that, if I wouldn't be back with him, he didn't want to be alive, that he was just going to start drinking because there was no reason for him to be sober if I
That's
wouldn't
an
be with
easy out.
him. Yeah.
It's manipulation.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like. But I knew, still battling that whole, like, what does my future look like with him? As bad and it's an emotional roller coaster for me because there were so many things that fell into that.
Yeah.
I was like, at one point, I had learned about Selena Gomez having her
Yeah.
transplant.
Yeah.
And I found out that like people with transplants don't usually live but
Mhm.
10 years after a transplant.
Yeah.
And so I called my mom squalling about that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it
Yeah.
was just constant like roller coasters of emotions. And then I had shortly after that found out that my nephew also was diagnosed with cancer, and that was a whole roller coaster of emotions. So finally, I was just like, this isn't healthy for me.
Yeah.
I can't continue to talk to you, and like you're putting this guilt on me and putting this blame on me for your drinking, and that's not fair for me.
Yeah, 'cause
And
that's a choice.
yes,
He's making that choice.
he made a chosen addiction.
Yeah,
And
it may be a disease, it may be an addiction, but it's his choice to continue doing
whereas
it.
your nephew didn't choose to get cancer.
No.
Exactly.
Right.
Like those are two completely different things. And if you're gonna have to have the mental capacity for one of them, it's definitely gonna be for the nephew that's going through stuff.
So yeah, I decided that that just wasn't right for me, and
Yeah.
I cut all ties. I just said, I hope the best for you. I'll pray for you every day. I asked my parents to still stay connected with him, because he had a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
So I was like, if he wants to talk to you guys, I don't want you to close those doors.
Yeah.
But
That was nice of you.
It's not healthy for me anymore.
Right.
So then a few months later, I had met this guy. I had met him when I first moved to Huntsville at Whiskey Bottoms. And when I first met him, I was just standing at the bar. I was about to order a drink and just moved to Huntsville, trying to get a fresh new start.
Yep.
I think I'd only been here a couple months, and he had walked up to me and he said, "Oh my gosh, you're the prettiest woman I've ever seen in my whole life." And
Lord bomber.
I said, y'all,
You are pretty.
but I said, you ain't gonna lie to kick it with me. So, yeah, I told him, I was like, you ain't gonna lie to kick it with me. But, yeah, so after that, we exchanged numbers, but I was there with some girlfriends, and he had went to a Jelly Roll concert with his, brother and sister-in-law. So we kind of just went our own separate ways, whatever. Well, then he was texting me after that, but he just seemed really shady. So like I kind of like blew him off a couple times, but he was very insistent at the same time.
Yeah.
And at one point I had nicknamed him DiGiorno Pizza because I was on the phone with him, and he was like, "Yeah, we're about to go make a delivery." And I was like, "What do you mean a delivery?" He was like, like DiGiorno Pizza. Well, I'm like, first thing I'm like, DiGiorno don't deliver.
Yeah, like what?
Like, what do you mean? Are you a drug
They'll
dealer?
leave Domino's.
I was like, "Are you a drug dealer? Like, what is your..."
You're like, I've already been through this. I don't want to
Yeah,
go through this
I'm
again.
like, whoa, stop the brakes. I'm not doing this. Well, he was like very, very insistent. So at one point I even blocked him on everything, y'all. He found me on Snapchat, added me on Snapchat.
Why?
I probably need to delete my Snapchat.
You need
Yes.
to, yeah.
I need to get rid
Or
of it.
just not
Like,
use it.
it's really not been good for me.
Yeah.
But so during a lot of that, like with my other ex, like he like kind of like was my shoulder to lean on. Like he
Yeah.
talked to me about it all. Like he was like, you know, it's not your fault. And like we did like we connected a lot on that level, and he kind of like started to feel like a really good friend.
Yeah.
And so eventually I was at Bridge Street with my sister, and he was snapping me at that time, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm at Bridge Street," and he was like, "Oh, me too." So then he came and met up with me and my sister, and I didn't even tell her, y'all. I didn't tell her. So he just walks up and starts chatting with us
Oh
and
my
walking
God.
around with us, and my sister's like, "Oh, hi." Like,
Who the hell are you?
yeah, and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, this is my friend," and I was like, "Yeah, he's got a crush on me." She's like, "Oh." Like, didn't even know.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, she didn't even know. I just kind of like threw that on her, bless her heart. She takes all of it with me. But so it was around Christmas time, and we were shopping for our parents' Christmas gifts, and we had hung out a few more times. I had my friend was coming up to visit, Lauren's doppelganger.
Yes.
Dude, I want to meet her.
There were so many posts that she tagged her.
I know.
I thought it was you. And
I
was like,
did too.
"That bitch did not include me."
I
and
know.
I get upset.
I was upset I didn't include myself.
And
It
it's
is
so funny because
insane.
that was the first thing my brother-in-law said when he met you, was that you look like her.
Yeah, I replied, I like messaged her. I was like, we need to meet because you're my doppelganger.
Or seriously.
Because like literally, there was one of the recent ones. I was like, was I with her? And it, like I did a double take. I was like, I wasn't even in town. Like,
It's insane how much y'all look alike.
yeah.
That was so funny. But yeah, so it was her birthday, so we had went to a concert, and I told him about it. Well, he went and bought tickets right next to us, and then like went and like he was trying to show off, y'all. He was buying all of my friends' drinks, buying my drinks. And even like when we had went out to the bar, another time with my other friends, he was buying all their drinks, like really just showing off and like trying to like show, like prove himself
Trying to
to me or
impress
something,
Yeah.
like
all the
impress
ladies.
me. And I was like, okay, well, like, I mean, maybe he's a good guy, you know, maybe he's not maybe he's not the drug dealer I thought he might be. But then I was like, he's really flashy, so I'm like, I don't know, he might still be a drug dealer. Let's find this out. At this point, I'm just like curiosity, like we're experimenting. This is
Is it or is it not to be a drug dealer or not to be a drug dealer?
I literally like every day would come home to my other sister, and I'm like, so this happened, this happened, this happened. You think he's a drug dealer? And she'd be like, oh yeah. Like she's really good. Like she's amazing at reading characters. So she's really good at it. So like we were but then she'd be like, well, you know, like he's really flashy and like likes to dress nice, and so do you. Like y'all both have white hey dudes. And I'm like,
You're bougie.
yeah, literally what she said was we were bougie.
You're both bougie.
Yeah, that's what she said. She was like, you're bougie. I'm not even that bougie. I just like to look nice. But so one thing led to another, and we started dating. And we dated for I think probably like a year and a half before he proposed.
Okay.
Normal timeline.
Yeah, normal timeline.
Yeah. Healthy timeline.
Yeah, he was already living with me. I had let him move in, and our relationship was kind of hot and cold too. There were some arguments, definitely. He was very insecure. It'd be like simple things like if I was late leaving work, he was I was a salary member management, like I do not get off on time. And
But see, that's what's crazy is because like in that situation you weren't actually doing anything. But in my situation when Dick would do that, I would be like, well, what are you doing? And he'd be like, oh, I'm working overtime, but then the money wasn't matching. So like, so there are times where people should be insecure. So it's a weird, we have the opposite thing because Dick would throw things in my face and be like, oh, you're just insecure, or, you know, or you cheating on me because you're claiming that I'm doing something, and would be like, you know, so you're probably cheating on me, and like throw it in my face.
Yeah.
But it wasn't me being, it was me like picking up on things.
Right.
So like, but this guy didn't have a reason. Well, you didn't cause a reason. He was the reason.
yeah, he was. Yeah, so he would accuse me of all these crazy things, and then like he was very want to be the man, right? Like when it came to like us talking about our last names. I was okay with taking his last name, but I also still wanted to keep mine. Mine means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I took my grandfather's last name. He moved here from Holland, and I'm the last one left
Yeah.
besides him. So like it means a lot to me. So when we spoke about it, I was like, I'm going to keep it as my middle name and have yours as my last. No, that was not okay with him. He like flipped out on me. It was not
Why?
okay because he thought that I was trying to keep the single name.
My eyes
Yeah.
twitching. Oh my
Right.
God.
Right. Like, what?
It's also 2026. If I want to keep my fucking name, I mean, thank God I didn't take Dick's last name. I literally was like, it's too much work to change all this, and I built my career under my name.
That's why I haven't changed my name back to any, because hell, I've had a few.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
just,
mean,
but also I wouldn't want anybody else's name. And I think I changed it after my first marriage. And then by the time I changed it back, I was like, I'm never changing it again because I was like, I don't want to,
Hassle.
it's a hassle. And also like, if things don't work out, then you have someone else's name. And my name's going to die too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll stick to, you know who hasn't disappointed me? My father. So I'll keep his name. And just like your grandfather, you'll keep his
my
name.
granddaddy ain't disappointed me not one bit.
Yep. So see, like I'll keep my name for that. But that's insane that he got mad about that.
Yeah, and then like he was always accusing me of all kinds of just crazy stuff. So we would fight a lot, and what I noticed was like we would get in fights and he would disappear. Like he wouldn't come home. He would, oh, I'm staying at my mom's house, or I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
What the?
And yeah, it got to the point where I was starting to feel crazy, y'all. Like I was being crazy. I was being crazy. There was one point I threw a whole cup of tea at him. I was going nuts.
Listen, you
There was
spilled
tea on my
the tea.
Literally
I
spilled the tea.
the tea. Yeah.
With a little horse.
Yeah, with a little force. I just got so mad at him. I like slung the cup down and like all over him, and I did not care.
Well, you probably had like a gut feeling, like an
Yeah.
instinct that he was not at his mother's house.
No, I told him, I was like, yeah, you keep playing around. I said, I'm gonna ping your iPhone and I'm gonna come, and I said, I'm gonna roll up and I'm gonna show up. And it's gonna be a whole thing for me. I was like, you do not want me to come embarrass you because I
Yeah.
will roll up and show up.
Yeah.
And so and one night, yeah, I had called his mom in the middle of the night. And she was like, yeah, he's not here. And I was like, cool. Didn't think he was.
Figured.
I said, can you go down to because I had like an airplane hangar. I was like, can you go over there and see if he's over there with his cousins? And she was like, yeah, I'll go check it out. He wasn't. Of course he wasn't, because that's not what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I knew it. I knew it in my whole gut,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't
Yeah.
prove it. So I already kind of like, I think I got to the point where I just knew like I wasn't going to marry him, but it was very close to the timeline.
Yeah.
And then one night he had broke his Apple Watch, and so he had left it behind because he broke it, and I guess he thought that I wouldn't turn it on.
Surprise.
But he was wrong because the screen was shattered, but the thing still worked.
Mm-hmm.
You can still
And
read
he
it.
had took his iPad with him because he knew I had the passcode for that, and I would go through it.
Mhm.
And I'm not like this girl who's like super jealous or
Yeah.
suspicious, but like when I believe that God will show you when you
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And God has always shown me, and I think he always will.
Yeah.
And God told me, he said, look at that Apple Watch, and I did. And when I pulled it up and I started flipping through and it had text messages in it, y'all, I was disgusted. My whole body was shaking. I was
Imagine.
so angry.
Uh-huh.
I was blowing his phone up. He tried to lie to me and tell me that he ended up in jail that night in Tennessee or something. I was like, oh, that's funny because I called the jails. And he said no, it was in Tennessee. I said, which one? And he told me, and I was like, I hung up on him, called that jail. And they said no, they hadn't had one, which is funny because he had a common name, so he probably could have got away with it because his name's real common.
That's
But
hilarious.
they didn't have one, so it was misfortunate for him. And I said, I know you're lying. I done found all these text messages. I said, I have the receipts.
Yeah.
I said, I'm done. Get out of my house.
It's amazing when you have the receipts though, and they're still like wanting me.
Yeah.
No, he
Yeah. I
literally
never would
tried
do
to blame
that.
it on his cousin. He said his cousin had borrowed his watch because his cousin
Oh,
didn't have
yeah,
a
right.
phone.
Mhm.
And y'all, like, the stuff I had found was disgusting.
No, I bet.
And I'm not vanilla. Like, it was disgusting what I found.
It's
Mhm.
bad if it grosses you.
Yeah. Because y'all know I'm not vanilla.
No.
And so I was like, get out of my house. Well, he wouldn't leave. He would not leave. Oh, and I forgot to even mention, one of the things he got mad at me about was because I wouldn't sign on his truck, co-sign on his truck.
Girl. And then Dick tried to get you to co-sign on his truck.
look, they're crazy.
I ain't never
No,
co-signed on nothing, I don't
he-
think.
Dick
Except
never
for house.
asked me to. He just had me go sit in there.
Oh, he had you sitting there because he wanted you to co-sign.
He was bragging about how easy the process was with him because I had told him about how the way my ex had acted.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, he got.
But he had a whole ass wife at home.
He got so mad at me because I wouldn't co-sign with him. Come to find out later, look, his credit score was under 500. Like what? Mine's
You know, I get a
800.
vehicle on that.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
he
did.
Dick got his.
somehow.
Well,
A Chevy
They'll-
giving it to everybody.
Yeah, they'll give you cars, but then they'll repo them whenever you
Yeah.
can't pay them, and magically all of a sudden they're not driving their nice cars anymore. But they just got rid of it.
Yeah.
they sold it.
They sold it back.
But I'm so thankful. That
Thank
I
God he didn't do
sign
that.
on that. But yeah, he had made some comment about like I've had girls that I've cared less about co-sign with me, and you won't even do it. We're supposed to get married, and I'm like supposed to get married. Well, I don't know about that now. And
then you found out he was cheating.
And then I found out he was cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm really glad I didn't do that. So it took me forever, y'all. He was in my house for 2 months. I went and stayed at my sister's house for a whole month. But so when I had found out we were 2 weeks out from getting married, I hadn't even picked up my dress yet. He went and picked up my dress. So I had to go return it. And I returned it on my birthday. I returned my
Oh, it
wedding dress
sucks.
on my birthday, and again, so thankful, can never be more thankful for my sister because she had my back the whole time. She did the return and pretended to be me
Yeah,
while I was like in shambles.
yeah.
And then, which everybody thinks we're twins, so it really just works out all the time for us.
You might as well
But
You're seriously though.
be. Yeah.
so we packed up our stuff, and I couldn't be more thankful for the bridesmaids I chose because every one of them booked it up and went to Florida with me. We all went to Florida for the weekend, and they sat with me while I just cried and I cried and I cried. I was heartbroken, and I think I was more embarrassed than I was anything.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why did I let myself do this again?
Yeah.
And that's what happens. It comes to an embarrassment thing. Like there's always a level of shame that comes with it. And, we really shouldn't feel shame for falling in love with people who lie and manipulate us.
Yeah.
Like that's on them, not us. That's, why we've all been in therapy. We've all like tried to work through things and try to pick better people. But some
Yeah.
guys are just really good at hiding who they really are until they get caught.
Oh, and he was great at it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What's crazy is 6 months later, you met Dick, and he was trying to do the same thing to you. And then sitting there, he knew about your. He told me because he was coming to my house to get me back about your ex.
Uh-huh.
And like I didn't know because I had already found everything.
We
Um,
had already stalked
me, showed up at my job looking for me.
Yeah, it's fine.
All the way.
Listen, I was trying to find you so that I could be like, hey, we need to be friends.
and I was trying to protect a goose in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So
But my thing is like, for Dick to know what C did to you,
Mhm.
and then to still like be like, oh well,
Yeah.
I'm going to try to weasel my way in and be the next one that does this to her.
because he probably thought she was vulnerable. And
Yes,
stuff.
but
Like,
the thing is you had finally seen a lot of the signs, and you were like, peace. And also he was bad in bed, as you say, so you were like, peace.
at the theater.
And I was like, and I'm sitting there at the theater.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, by then she doesn't know. She didn't know. But yeah, that's crazy that like thank God you got rid of C, but then thank God you didn't fall for Dick's antics
Yeah.
like I did, because that would have been another one that you would have had to like deal with, because Dick would have proposed quick,
Oh yeah.
because that's like he did with me,
Mhm.
but but it was after telling me like he was never gonna, he thought he would never get married again, and
Yeah.
the whole spill, and then they're like, here's a ring,
Mhm.
let me destroy your life.
I think I was more sad about the ring than anything. That was my Pinterest ring.
You should have kept it.
I should have, but like we weren't married, so I didn't own it yet.
No, but it's
I
the state of
thought-
Alabama. It's a gift.
Oh well, see, I needed you as a friend then.
I know.
It was gorgeous. It was.
Come
Oh,
in, please. Yeah.
I loved it. I
Yeah.
sold him back his ring because I was like, well, I don't need this. I don't want this. I just want you out of my house.
Yeah, like
That was,
literally,
like,
please
literally every
leave.
time he talked to me, I was like, no, I just want you to move out. And then finally he did, after I threatened to blackmail him and expose him to the world.
Yeah.
And he finally was like, I can't believe you're being that type of person. I'm like,
That type of person that
It's
you
a-
made me into.
right, you made me
But
this.
also, like, don't do things if you don't want to be called out on them. We're holding people accountable for their shitty fucking behavior.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, then be a better human.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, that's my thing, is I'm like,
Not our problem.
all
Who
these
gives a
people,
shit?
right. all these people getting upset and like, Chip guy getting upset that you commented, Dick getting mad at me. Like, you chose to be a sketchy asshole.
Mm-hmm.
That's on you.
Yep, absolutely.
So, and none of us have ever claimed to be perfect.
No, God, no.
None of us have ever been
Honestly,
claimed to be
struggling,
perfect.
And we take accountability for the shit that we've done.
Correct. But you didn't cheat on C. I didn't cheat on Dick. You didn't cheat on yours.
Nope.
Like, when they're doing this shady shit that they're doing, we didn't do it back. And although we may not have been perfect in any relationship, because no one is, either partner,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't do something that was so bad between like physical abuse, emotional abuse, and cheating.
Yep.
They crossed those lines
Right.
of no return. They really did cross the lines of no return.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So they chose that, and here we are telling our stories and holding them accountable and giving a safe space for women to come tell their stories too.
Mm-hmm.
And, we just started this YouTube channel, and we have a podcast that's been going on since April of last year.
Right.
So we're on Spotify and Apple and anywhere you get your podcasts for the last year. So if you're just now finding us on YouTube, you may not know the full backstory to everything.
Right.
And that's the full backstory is long circle story short. My now ex-husband did date her. I caught them and having an affair, but without her knowing.
Yeah,
Tried to date her twice, which is stupid because by the second time we were friends. But the first time tried to date her and we went to lunch instead of her going with him. And so we created the podcast. We finally met Amber. We all came together. We all were like, we're awesome fucking people. Let's make this podcast and have fun. So that's basically the long story short. But we wanted to now we're branching out into the YouTube world and wanted to be able to have these conversations. And we're going to be reading stories that women send in. And so if you've ever had a really toxic relationship, or whether it's family, friends, a partner, and you want us to read it, it'll be 100% anonymous.
Yeah. The only thing you have to provide is your email address, and that is just for if we have any questions for feedback or any things of that nature, that we can reach out to you. However,
yeah, like once we read your story, we might have questions. Right. So we would be like, hey, can you clarify this, type thing. But we're not going to say their names. We're not going to say your name, but we're going to read it and talk about it because I think the number one thing is to know you're not alone. Like that's one thing that the three of us were able to really bond over is like we went through cheating, emotional abuse, physical abuse, like different things through our lives. And to know that we weren't alone and that we shouldn't feel shame.
Right.
We should be able to talk about it. And, mental health is something that definitely needs to be talked about. And like, we're big proponents of therapy. And that's why we have therapists come on the show and everything and talk too. So I think it's really good that we brought you on with us to have another perspective because all three of yours were very different relationships and very like you've dealt with, abuse from alcoholism and from or dealing with the sicknesses of that and then drugs, but then also dealing with cheating and like then the gaslighting and everything else. So it's good to know that we're all in this shithole together. But at least I think that's why like I really am trying to push like friendship, like true friendship, and being like not even in that none of us are perfect, but putting each other like friends are the ones that are going to be there.
Right. Yeah.
Like on my deathbed, I don't expect a man to be there, but I expect you bitches to be there.
Oh, I'll be there.
And be like, hey, bitch, you dying. Do you want something? What one last thing do you want?
I'll be like, can I go with you? I'm not really having that much fun.
I'll be like, come on.
We're working on this.
No. We're in therapy.
Yeah.
She don't like her
We're
friends
dark.
anymore.
It's fine.
Group session soon.
But yeah, well, I hate you went through all that, Amber, but it led us all to each other.
Yeah.
So we all went through some shit, but we all ended up together.
Yep.
So, all right, well, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.